That is it. We did it. Yay. You're about to apply to the State University of New York. Hi, I hope you're doing well. I'm Jordana. I'm going to sit right here with you and we are going to complete the entire SUNY college application, giving you all of the SUNY application tips. Are you excited? Like, yes, we're applying to college. This is exciting. Like, I can't stop teasing because I'm so excited for you. SUNY is ranked among the best in New York and in the nation, and they have 18,000 international students from 180 nations. So international students, I'm excited for you too. This could be you in a few minutes.
Hello, New York City! I just applied to the State University of New York, and I'm going to SUNY College!
Too much? Well, 15 minutes from now, you'll be finished your SUNY application, and you just might want to. First things first, the ifs. If you're not sure which SUNY campus you want to apply to, check out my video on picking a SUNY campus first, and then come on right back. If you want to be able to finish this application quickly without stopping every few seconds to transcript. I can't find my transcript. Or, oh my God, Mom, what was the name of that program I did in 9th grade? I can't remember the name. Okay. Logged out again. Check out my video on all the documents you need to apply to college and then come on back. And if you don't believe me or just don't want to click off and come back, just get a sheet of paper or some Post-its so that you can list all the things that you'll need to come back to do later. And as we do this, feel free to pause me at any moment so that we can stay in sync. Using the SUNY application is fast and it's easy. You can apply to 53 of SUNY's 64 campuses with one application. But if you apply to any of these SUNY colleges, you have to apply directly on their college website. And if you're applying to any of these 25 SUNY schools and private colleges as well, then you have another option. You might want to fill out the common application, or you can do both, because SUNY admissions say they don't care whether you do the common app or the SUNY application. But whatever you choose, you're good. And I'm gonna have a video on filling out the common application too. So I'm just saying, I'm trying to do everything I can in every single way to help you be prepared in every way possible, so you might want to subscribe. Just saying. You need me in your life. So go to suny.edu/apply SUNY. Click create your own SUNY account. Now, put in your name, date of birth with the slashes and the full year. Give them a professional email address, something simple like your name or a variation of your name. So next, create a password, save it somewhere safe, make a note on your phone, wherever. Pick a security question. Click next, and your registration is complete. Now, clicking log on will take you back to the login page, and you can now put in the same email address you just gave them and the password that you created to log in. Click on the Start My Apply SUNY application for the year that you want to start. The fall semester would be from August to December. Spring is from January to May. You'll know that you've completed a section when a green mark pops up on the tab, and a red mark means that something's missing. And if you're not sure about something, you can always just click live, and they'll give you live help in like 10 seconds. And the first page, educational plans. So you're a freshman if you're a senior coming straight from high school. Even if you took dual enrollment or college classes before you graduated, you'd still be a freshman. You're a transfer student if you graduated high school and then you enrolled in college, but now you want to change schools, even if you got no credits. Now, if you plan to take a full course load of about 4 classes, that'll be about 12 credits, so that'll be full-time. And if you plan to do less than that, you'll be part-time. You're an adult learner if you're returning back to school years later. Now, SUNY offers additional support depending on your situation, and all I have to say to that is bring on the help. College is not the time to be proud. Things can be new and complicated, and you gotta be honest about your situation. You can ask me anything you wanna ask in the comments, but ask, you gotta ask. And if you've come from a historically disadvantaged background and think that your family may be economically disadvantaged, then definitely click yes for EOP. It's a great program that helps students whose scores and GPAs may be a little bit below the general admission standards, but have potential. You know, being low income, you may have not had all the same opportunities that other students have had. So they're giving the opportunity to catch up and get ahead now. So after you click yes, they're going to take you through a series of questions just to confirm your eligibility, and then they'll let you know that you might be eligible. And they say might because it's going to be the actual campus that's going to make the final decision. So there may be some additional forms that you have to fill out. They might ask you for an essay, but let me tell you, whatever they ask you to do, it is worth it because the program can be life-changing. Now, if by the numbers you feel like you should be eligible for EOP and for whatever reason you get rejected, here's one of those times when you don't want to give up. Email them, ask them to double check. Sometimes it could be something simple like you just made a little mistake. It's worth your time to just double check. So clicking save and continue allows you to work in sections information to be able to come back later. Like if you lose internet access, or if your computer battery dies, or whatever happens, you can just log right back in and all your information would be right there. And that takes us to our next page, personal information. So you have to put in your first and your last name. Any question with a red star is mandatory. Anything without a red star is optional. So you technically don't have to answer it, but I encourage you, even if you feel like, why are you asking me this? Or that's not your business, you should still answer. It can lead to some really nice opportunities for you, and we'll talk more about that later as we go. So an optional question would be whether you have a nickname. For putting in nicknames, they don't really care about what your nickname is, except if in the case where like your name is William, but everybody calls you Bill. And when they go to write down your recommendation letters, the teacher's like, Bill this, Bill that. And they're like, who's Bill? And they're like, oh, he said that's his nickname. So in that case, you do want to put down what your nickname is. If you changed your name at one point in your life and all of your school records are in your old name, you can type your old name in here, except if you're in a Lifetime movie, because then everyone would know about your double life and they'd find out who the killer is. Putting in your social security number will make it easier for the financial aid office to be able to connect to your information. But if you don't have a social security number, just leave it blank. Next, your birthday, your legal sex, your gender, and your pronouns. Click Save and Continue. Next page. Your permanent mailing address. Don't forget your apartment number if you have one. And international students, if you're going to be applying for an F1 visa, you need to make sure that that mailing address is outside the US. And if you've been staying somewhere else, you can even say yes to having a temporary address, and you can even give them the date of when you'll want your mail to go back to the permanent address. Save and continue. And now you'll put in your home phone number and or your cell phone. And don't forget your country code before your area code. If you're in the US, it's the number 1. Korea, it's 0. That's all I know. And let them know if it's okay to send you text messages. They won't spam you. Your email address will already be there from when you register. They'll ask if you're a US citizen and for the city and the country you were born in. Then they ask what country you're a citizen of. Now, if you're a permanent resident, say yes, and then give them your A number or your USCIS number. It's usually a 7, 8, or 9-digit number that can be found on your permanent resident card or your employment authorization card. And if you're not a permanent resident, you'll need to put in your visa type and the expiration. So for example, enter F1 if you're applying for student visa. And if you're undocumented, just choose visa other. Then tell them how many years you've been in the US and if you've been educated outside the US in a language other than English. If you have, you'll need to prove your English proficiency by taking the TOEFL or the IELTS, or you can use SAT or ACT. And I want you to know, because I know that these kinds of questions can be very, very scary for some families. SUNY does not and will not consider national origin or immigration status as a factor when it looks at your application. SUNY doesn't release students' immigration status to anyone, like no one, no immigration officials, no one. But they need to know in order to distinguish between you and international students. Don't feel threatened. It's okay to let them know. In the residency section, they'll ask if you're a New York State resident. If you say yes, then they'll ask what county. Now, I know not everyone uses county names often. For example, in Brooklyn, we just call it Brooklyn, but it's actually Kings County. So if you're not sure, you don't see your area, your county there, just Google it. And if you've lived in New York State less than a year, they want to know how many months. If you've been here longer than a year, just leave it blank. Next page. Now, these questions might feel a little bit nosy, but they're not asking you to get in your business. They actually want to help you. Your answers to these questions might make you eligible for additional financial aid and special programs, and you might be eligible for additional support and extra opportunities. Like sometimes opening up and telling people what's really real leads to good things. So if at any point after age 13 you were in foster care or were an orphan before age 13, click yes. And I'm so sorry. Military. If you or your parent or your spouse is a veteran or in active duty service or a National Guard or active reserve member, thank you for your service. Choose your status from the drop-down. If you were in either of those groups, you're also eligible for a SUNY fee waiver. You can apply to 7 SUNY campuses for free. More on that later. Are you Hispanic or Latino? What's your background? Check off the box or as many as apply to you for your race. It's optional and it can't hurt you, whatever you decide. Was English your first language? If you're a transfer student, they want to know if you've been dismissed, suspended, or expelled in college. If you say yes, they'll ask you to give the approximate dates of the incident, and they'll ask you to explain what happened and what you learned from that experience in about 400 words or less. Do not quit your application at this point. It won't automatically stop you from getting in, but the campuses you apply to might have some additional follow-up questions, and it could affect your housing options. But be honest, because if you're found to be lying, like, they don't hesitate to reject your application or to kick you out if you got that far. And we're in the family section. So fill in your family's approximate income range for last year. You'll find it on your income tax form under gross income. You only need to put in the income of the household that you are in for most of the year, including your step-parent if you have one. I know it's annoying to find, it's annoying to ask. Not everybody's so willing to give the information. They're just like, you don't need to know that, it's none of your business. Maybe you could have them come over, say, just put the information in and click next page and I won't even look. Whatever you have to do, don't give up at just the first no, because your number could lead to you qualifying for a free laptop loan program or for EOP and a fee waiver. Also, depending on your income, if you'll be a part-time student or if you're an ESL, you could be eligible for SNAP. They will automatically enroll you. If that's grocery money. Do you like to eat? I like to eat. I'm always hungry, but it's up to you. But like I said, I know it's not always that simple. Some adults make it very, very hard. Don't give up. Next, put in the people who live with you, who also depend on you if you're head of household, or your parents. Don't forget to include yourself. So if you have 4 brothers and sisters and 2 parents, how many people in your family is that? That's 7. And you do have to answer who you live with. So if your parents are divorced, you can put the parent that you live with most of the year to be parent number 1, and parent number 2 will be whoever you list in the number 2 spot. Put in their name, their email address, their phone number, and whether they live at the same permanent address that you put down earlier. If you have both parents or a legal guardian, if you're a ward of the state or the county or other, put that in. They also ask for the highest level of school that they've completed. Again, there is no judgment there. They're just asking because they want to find out if you're a first-generation student, meaning you're the first person in your family to go to college. That is something to celebrate. They want to make sure that you get any eligible funding and supports that you deserve. If that's you, good for you. Yeah, starting a legacy. Save and continue. And now they ask if you have anyone in your family who attended or graduated from a SUNY college or a SUNY Community College. So you can just click add alumni, and then you just put in the relationship to you, their name, their graduation year, and the campus. This will not affect whether you get in or not. And that takes us to your academic history. This is where you put in your high school information. You can look up your high school when you click add high school. If you got your CEB code from your college counselor, you can just put it in there and then click search. It's faster to find and select your high school from there. But you can also just type in your high school and put in your city, really your borough. Like if you put New York City, nothing's coming up. You gotta put in the actual borough, put your state, and then scroll and find it. And there's also an option if you're an international student or if you're homeschooled, just type it in. Also, if you go to one of these high schools, you'll automatically be allowed to apply to 7 SUNY campuses for free. More on that later. If you're a New York State high school, they'll just put in your counselor's name for you and they'll ask you for your OSIS number. Otherwise, they'll ask you to give your counselor's name and email address. If you don't know it now, you can come back and do it later because you will need it so that they can ask the counselor for the recommendation letter and for your transcripts. Now, if you go to school in New York City, giving your OSIS number, that number right there at the top of your transcript, they'll be able to just pull up your transcript themselves. If you're outside of New York City, but still in New York State, you can just ask your high school counselor to submit your transcript electronically using the SUNY counselor portal. And if you don't live in New York, 2 things. 1, print out the school counselor form and have your counselor send it to the application services center. 2, your counselor is going to send your transcript to each individual college that you've applied to. And if you're transferring, just make sure you have all your transcripts from all the colleges that you attended. You'll send it to each SUNY that you applied to. And if you earned less than a year's worth of credits, you'll also need to go back and get your high school transcript sent as well. Next, tell them whether at the time of you're filling out this application, whether you'd say that you will graduate from high school, already graduated from high school, dropped out or withdrew from high school, or got your GED in New York State, or got your GED in another state. Then put in the month and year that you graduated or will graduate, or when you dropped out of school. Don't forget the slash. Did you go to high school in New York State for 2 or more years? Are you trying to get college credit in high school through one of these? Check the box. Then save and continue. All right, pull out your program and tell them all of the classes that you're taking senior year. And for each class, tell them whether it's a Regents class, a regular class, an honors class, an AP class, or an IB class. Go ahead, take your time. I am not going anywhere. You could just click pause. And the next page is for the dates that you have or will take the SAT or ACT. On the campus selection tab, you'll also have the option to decide whether you actually want those to be seen and it's considered as part of your application or not. For now, you just want to know the dates. But here you can put up to 3 dates and scores for the SAT and 2 for the ACT. And you can give them the date that you plan to take the SAT if you want them to wait to see those scores too. Check one of these boxes if you have any of these academic distinctions. But don't worry if you don't have any of these. There's a spot where you can put your other accomplishments later. Next, you can list up to 5 honors and awards for academics, work, or volunteer activities. You just put the name of the award and the description, and whether it's a school, state, national, international award, and the grade that you got the award. Go ahead, take your time. I am not going anywhere. You could just click pause. And then you can put in up to 8 extracurricular activities. This could be like sports, student government, clubs, community service, you name it. Don't feel pressured though. If you couldn't do any activities because you had to work, don't worry, there's gonna be a spot for you to put that into. Tell them the name of the activity, give a description, what grade you were in that activity, your highest leadership position, whether you did it during the school year or during the breaks or the entire year. Now I'll talk while you type. For extracurricular activities, it's quality over quantity. The length of time that you participated in that activity, your investment, how needed are you in that activity? Those are the things that matter, not having a whole bunch of activities. I did a video on the best extracurricular activities for getting into college, if you want to check that out later. We're almost there. We're about to pick a campus. Before we do that, remember when I said that if you had to work, don't worry? This is the page where you can enter your job title, your employer or the organization, the dates you worked there, and approximately how many hours a week you worked. You can put up to 6 of any part-time or summer or volunteer positions you've had. So you can start with the most recent and then work your way down. Next, essays. So some SUNY colleges require an essay. Some recommend it. These are the colleges that require it. So usually the prompts are the same as the prompts on the Common Application essay. You can type your essay into the text box, but I always advise that you copy and paste your essay into the text box after you've had a chance to write it and edit it and have somebody else proofread it ahead of time. And after you paste it, you'll need to check it one more time because you'll lose all your formatting and make sure it's the way you want it. Then click Save and Continue. The personal statement section is optional. It's just a chance for you to explain anything about your grades or your scores. I mean, we're not robots, we're not machines. If you've experienced the death of a parent, illness, anything major that affected you and that you had to overcome, tell them. If you took a gap year or you're an adult learner, like here's a really great spot to talk about your experience and why you're ready to come back to school now. Next section, campus section. So you get to pick the SUNY colleges that you would like to apply to. You can apply up to 10 colleges with your one application. Just remember, you have to pay $50 for every single one, unless you have a fee waiver and then you can apply to 7. When you click add a campus, you put in the semester that you're hoping to start, then scroll down and find the college that you want. Be careful though, because some campuses have similar names like Buffalo State College and the University of Buffalo, or Genesee Community College and the College at Geneseo. Like, it's an easy mistake to make. So tell them if you're applying for EOP at that campus, then you'll elect your major. Now, if this feels like a lot, it's because there's 64 campuses and over 4,000 degrees and certificate programs. It is a lot. And if you want to watch a very quick, very important video on how to pick the right SUNY campus right now without messing up, you could just pause this one, click Save and Continue, head over to that video, make your decision, and then come on back. I'm not going anywhere. I got you. Okay, so you're back, or maybe you never left. Then for each college that you apply to, pick a program or major, except for SUNY Purchase, which will let you pick as many majors as you want for $50 each major. Another tip for you, don't just look at the major. See whether it's on campus with classes in person or whether it's a hybrid class or partially online. And if it's a technical college, check and see if they're offering an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree in that major. And if a major is labeled closed, EOP, then that means that that campus isn't accepting EOP students for that term that you put in. And you can choose another campus, you can choose another major, or you can change your EOP status. But if you change your EOP EOP status. That also means that your eligibility requirements for getting in no longer would apply. You'd also lose money. And then it's like, is it really worth it anymore? So do not make that decision on your own. Sit down with your local school counselor and tell them what you're thinking about doing. Ask them their opinion before you make a big choice like that. If you're not sure about a major, you can, of course, put in undeclared. If there's additional information that you need to know in order to apply for a program, like portfolios, auditions, etc., you can see it if you click View Notes. They also want to know if you're applying for early decision or early action, which will only pop up if you're applying to a college that offers that. Also, they want you to tell them whether you plan on living on campus in the dorms or whether you're going to commute from home, and tell them if you ever applied to their campus before and when. And depending on the program, you may also be asked if you want to send out your SAT or ACT scores in order to be considered as part of your application. So for now, SUNY has temporarily stopped requiring the SAT and the ACT for students applying for fall 2023, spring 2024, and summer 2024 for most programs. If you took the test and you feel like your scores represent you well, then go ahead, show them your scores. If you took it and you don't feel like it represented you well, you don't have to. But you still might need your scores if you're hoping to get any merit scholarships, like for good grades. And good news that no SAT requirement also includes international students. Just know that you might still need to submit some kind of testing to prove your English proficiency. If you decide later on after thinking about it that you want to change your answer about the SAT and the ACTs, you can just contact the admissions office at the specific college you've applied to. Now, after you've answered all of these questions, click the Add Campus button. And if you want to add some more campuses, just click the Add a Campus Choice button, and then you can just pick another campus and go through this all over again. Now, after you've added your campus or all of your campuses, click Save and Continue. And a review summary screen comes up showing you all of your completed sections. They all have green if it's complete, and then it'll also show you with a little link how you can go back and fix or finish anything that needs to be done. Then they'll ask you to finalize your application by printing it out and making sure that everything is right. Check it twice, have another person check it, check. When you are finished, click Save and Continue. Two boxes pop up. The first box that pops up is just an opportunity saying, hey, would you be okay if we sent your application to some other campuses if you don't get any of the campuses that you applied to? And yeah, it's a nice backup. Now, if you think there's only one SUNY campus for me, and if I don't get in there, I don't want anywhere else, then don't check the box, but everybody else check the box. The second box is saying that you understand that the application fee is non-refundable. So even if you found that perfect major and then later on you found out, oops, I thought it was on campus, but it was actually online, God forbid, I'm just saying it so that it doesn't happen. You understand that they're not gonna refund you your money. They also want you to agree that if you don't complete all of the application or parts are missing, that it's on you and that your application is not gonna be considered, that you're agreeing to tell the truth. Please tell the truth. There are terrible stories of people who lied and then they got found out. Not only was it embarrassing, but they couldn't get in. You're saying that you would understand that if you applied early decision or early action, you'll follow all the rules and that you're okay with your transcript and scores being sent out to the colleges. So when you click OK, the payment page will come up. You can pick how you want to pay, or if you need, you can come back later. It will be saved and they will not send it out until payment is either submitted or you've been cleared for a fee waiver. And good news, if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, or if you go to one of the listed high schools, or you're in foster care, you will automatically get a fee waiver. So if you are military affiliated as well, if you're a SUNY or CUNY transfer student, or if you are EOP eligible, you too can get 7 SUNY campus free waivers. But if you think that you should be eligible for whatever reason, it's just not coming up, just go back and check and make sure that you put in your household income and size earlier on the application. And that's it, you're done. Woo! You're gonna get a confirmation email that your application has officially been submitted. You can also check back at ApplySUNY in 48 hours to see your application status online. That is it, we did it! Yay! I hope you're up, I hope you're dancing. I better not be the only one dancing by myself. Like, this is why you need me in your life. This is why you should subscribe. Like, we need to celebrate every moment. Come on, good for you. We are on our way, yes. You have gone through the entire application. Maybe you need to go back and tweak a few things here and there, complete a few parts here, but we're still gonna celebrate because we made it all the way through. Oh, and you might be wondering with all this save and continue and coming back later, like when do you actually have to press the submit button and be completely done? SUNY has rolling admissions. So SUNY accepts students no matter when they apply until the programs fill up, but they do fill up. So apply by like Thanksgiving or December 1st so that you you don't miss out on getting a seat in your program or getting housing or getting scholarships. Keep checking your portal at www.suny.edu/ApplySUNY to make sure that you've completed all the next steps. And if you want to take it a step further, check for any specific deadlines for the specific campus and the program that you apply to on their campus website. If you have any problems, you can call the Recruitment Response Center at 800-342-3811, or you can email asksuny@suny.edu, or you can check out the suny.edu/start for live assistance. And of course, you can ask me in the comments. I look forward to hearing your results. Let me know, like, did you get in? Where did you get in? Are you excited? Like, how's this whole process going for you? I will reply to every single comment. I am here for you. And this is just the start. Like, we are gonna get things done. Like, your to-do list is gonna be like, check, 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 check. Like, we're getting things done. And if you're an international student, we love you. There are 3 additional forms for you to print, fill out, and mail to each campus that you're applying to. The links, I've put them below for you to make that nice and easy. It's a personal essay, it's your English proficiency, and a financial statement. So take a breath, celebrate, treat yourself. You will receive an admissions decision from every single college that you apply to. And if you're wondering, what will colleges be looking for on my application? Check out this video right here. You'll be able to give them everything they want and increase your chances of getting in.